Karibu sana Ambrose.
Thank you very much. Asante.
Nimekuonaona. Sijai kuelewa.
Ala?
Sijai kuelewa.
Mbona?
Content creator. CEO wa The Fireplace. Mara nimekuona ukigonga mawe. Who are you? Wewe ni nani?
Hapo kwa mawe umekuja sana.
Aki, niona ukigonga mawe sasa najiuliza ako huku. Wewe ni nani?
Unajua
tunataka kujua ni nani.
Unaambia watu ninagonga mawe. Wanaweza fikiria nilikuwa na demonstrate. I mean, I have never demonstrated in my life. But anyway,
kugonga mawe inamaanisha mawe ya ujenzi. Unaona mawe ya ujenzi ulikuwa na hiyo kitu ya kugonga sijui inaitwanga dindo ama inaitwa nini? Ulikuwa hapo hivi.
It's life.
Kando na hapo na kuona kwa hizi event kubwa ukijaribu uko hapo bado sielewi wewe ni nani na kuona ukipatia watu interview watu wakubwa hizi interview big. Sasa sijai kuelewa wewe ni nani.
Hiyo swali ni kubwa kwa sababu sasa nikianza kujieleza sijui nitaanzia wapi nimalizie.
Mimi nataka uanzie hapo.
So umejua jina langu by the way. So mimi naitwa Ambrose. Nguti, my two names only on my ID. I'm born and raised in Bungoma. You know, place called Kimilili. Kienda sana, there's a village called Hamlati. Yeah, so that's where I was born and raised. So most of my life I grew up in Bungoma. I came to Kitale in 2006 after my Form 4. I did my Form 4 in 2001. So after being idle for all those years, it was about time to look for something to do for myself. So that's what brought me to Kitale. And I have never left since.
Hapa ni hapa.
Now this is my home now. Yeah.
Sasa vile ulimaliza hiyo Form 4 ukakuja hapa, ulijihusisha na nini? Ulijoin campus?
Achana na campus.
Ukajipataje kwa mawe hapo kwa uko na gonga?
So the way I left home to come and look for a job ilikuwa ni kama kawa tu, kama umemaliza shule, you are around, you're trying to look for something to do. I tried to get to college, it was not possible because of issues of school fees. Tukajaribu kuapply mabasari za wakati huo. Azikwenda through, unajua we were not politically aligned. So it was unsuccessful. Na unajua vile miaka zinaendelea kwenda, you start questioning yourself, so what will happen? So ikabidi tu nikuje nitafute job, any kind of job. I was in that position where any job would give me satisfaction, because unajua kukaa nyumbani day in day out. Hata madhe alikuwa amechoka na mimi, she was like, mimi nimekupeleka shule, umesoma, umemaliza. Unajua to my mom kumaliza Form 4 ni kumaliza shule. So she was like, nimekupeleka shule, nimekufundisha mpaka umemaliza shule.
Na uko na 18 years.
What are you doing here in my home?
Na uko na ID.
What are you doing in my home? So ikakuwa ni mazee lazima nitoke. So that's how I came to Kitale. Kitale si kwa jua mtu. But I think my mom had this idea kwamba we have some distant relatives in Kitale, so I was coming to look for distant relatives ndio wani connect kama wanaweza kunipako kibarua na nini.
Na ulikuwa unawajua wa relative ambao unakuja tu kwa tafuta?
I just knew names. I didn't know where they stay, I didn't know how to get there, so
ala
nilikuja tu hivyo na wacha tuseme na imani. But funny enough, I have never been to this while since 2006. Mpaka sasa sijaienda kwa hao relatives. Not even one day. I've never spent in their home.
Au wenye ulikuwa unakuja kuwatafuta?
Wenye nilikuwa nakuja kuwatafuta. Yeah.
Sasa uliland wapi? Vile uliwakosa?
Well, I don't know. I came to town. My brother alikuwa amenipea contact ya another friend of his. Akasema ukifika Kitale go to a place. Hiyo wakati kulikuwa na simu but they were very expensive, so I didn't have a phone. Nikapewa tu direction, enda mahali fulani, utapata mtu fulani, uliza, jintroduce, alafu tuone. So I went to the cafeteria at the district hospital to look for that particular person. Na nikampata. And that particular person alikuwa anatakana ni connect kwa kazi. Kazi yenye ilikuwa available ni kufanya kwa kibanda. Well, kibanda, si ndio? Si hoteli, si kibanda, in between there.
Kibanda.
The cafeteria that is, if you have been to the district hospital,
okay,
yeah, there is a cafeteria on your right. Yeah. Ile wagonjwa wanakuja kununua chakula and that kind of thing. By that time it was the only hotel around the hospital. So it was serving both the doctors, the interns, na wagonjwa. So yeah, I introduced myself. And I said I was looking for a job. They say, what can you do? I can do anything, you know. I said, bas we nenda ukuje report to work tomorrow. So I didn't know what kind of work I was reporting to, but I was supposed to report the following day. I didn't know where to go to sleep. Sasa unajua wasiwasi sasa nitalala wapi? Ndio nikuje hiyo kesho, you know.
Okay.
But you know, so I left that place and I just started walking. Came to town, nikaenda hiyo line moja, nikaenda hiyo barabara ya stadium. Kiendanga, I didn't know where I was going, but I was walking and hoping that something will happen. I think it was faith or something, because hata watu wenye nilitumwa niende niwatafute sijui nawapata aje, you know, and I'm new in town, I don't know where to go, so I was just walking and then I bumped into an old friend of mine. We were not friends per se, but we met once in a church conference, youth conference in church, and he was a pastor-ish kind of person. So he was like, hey, Nguti, what are you doing in Kitale? Hey, mazetu, tangu tujuane sijui 3 years ago. Hatujai kutana. So we meet, and then he says he's in Kitale, he's trying to build a church and that kind of thing. And then he was like, twende kwangu bana. Sijamwambia sina mahali ya kulala kwa.
Mungu anachezanga.
Yeah, so we meet up and he invites me to his house, and then I spent at his place for some time. Some months actually. So kamwelezea why I'm in Kitale, what I'm doing, my situation. Akasema iko sawa, you can stay with me as long as you want, where you figure out your life, alafu tuone itakwaje.
So hiyo kesho yake ukarudi district.
Nikarudi district. Nikapewa kazi ya kuosha vyombo na kupanguza hoteli. And you know, cleaning. Generally cleaning. Cleaning the vyombos, na kupanguza floor. And I was an errand boy as well. Vitunguzi kiisha unatuma town kwa soko unanunua na nyanya, you come back. You know, basically that was my job, my first employment. I was earning about 70 shillings a day.
70?
Yeah.
Hiyo ni mwaga gani?
It was 6.
6.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. What?
Sasa ukakuwa unatoka jioni, ulikuwa unafunga kazi saa ngapi?
Reporting work is 6 in the morning. Leaving is 6 in the morning, sometimes 7, depending on how busy the place is. Na ilikuwa inafanya mpaka usiku, so ina depend yule mwenye anakuja the next shift anakuja saa ngapi ndiye atakutoa.
Na pasi alikuwa na stay place gani? T1 Lesos.
Yeah.
Hiyo distance ulikuwa unatembea?
Nilikuwa natembea.
Wow. Aya. Sasa ukatoka hapo district. Ulifanya hapo district kwa muda gani ndio ukatoka?
Around 2 years. Yeah, I think 2 years. 2 years, between those 2 years, from kuosha vyombo na the cleaner guy to an errand boy, to a service, the waiter, to a waiter, then nikaenda kwa finance, wale watu wa kuchukua pesa, you know, both during the night and during the day. But then I realized mshahara yangu unajua haijabadilika for the 2 years, it's still 7 shillings a day.
Iko tu hapo. Iko tu hapo.
So yeah,
na umepandishwa cheo lakini
mshahara
ni hapo tu.
Unajua sasa the only advantage yenye uko nayo ni kwamba unaweza kula vizuri.
Tumbo iko sawa.
You can eat your top layer ukitaka kukula lunch hata saa 5. Wewe uko tu sawa.
Sasa unamezia kwa hasira.
You can eat well.
Ukifikiria juu ya mshahara na niambia ukule.
I was not eating in the house. Nikitoka asubuhi kwa nyumba, I don't breakfast na kunywa kazi, lunch the same. So lunch we used to eat late. Kama saa 9, traffic ikishakuwa chache tunakula lunch. So unakula tu lunch mzuri, unajua hiyo ndio na sapa pamoja.
Unafanya combination.
Yeah, so I was there for 2 years. Alafu baadaye nikaona hii kazi ni kama inipeleki mahali. I was desiring more, you know. I was desiring more. I wasn't satisfied per se. So, and because there was no opportunity that was giving me that satisfaction, that window, I just decided to quit. Kaachana tu na kazi, nikaenda huko Lesos. I had moved to my house. Nilikuwa nalipa 600 shillings per month. So I went back to my house and tried to think what else can I be able to do, you know. Yeah, so I decided so this pastor of mine, vile alisikia kwamba nimequit job, of course he asked me why I quit the job, and I told him I need something more than just going and serving people food and stuff like that, because then I didn't see an opportunity to grow as a person, you know. So nikasema hiyo job sioni kama nitaendelea nayo. He connected me to his friend who was also who was a teacher, but he was running a private school, and he needed some untrained teachers and stuff like that. So I went, I did an interview. He thought I was capable of stepping in as a teacher. Akanipea kazi. Mshahara ikapanda, ikakuja I think 1500 per month. Yeah, nikaanza kazi kukuwa mwalimu. Hii town kitembea na kutana na wanafunzi wangu bado wananiita mwalimu.
Sasa vile ulitoka kwa pasi, alikupea hiyo permission ya kutoka ndio akakutafutia kazi?
Yeah.
Ama alikutafutia kazi ndio ukatoka?
No, by the time I was quitting this job, nilikuwa nimeshatoka kwa pasi.
Okay.
So, but we were living in the same place, Lesos. So we were pretty much like brothers, you know. He has to ask me kumeendaje, and then I was going to his church, you know, so we were pretty close. So vile aliona kwamba quit kazi and I was looking for another opportunity, then he pushed me to his friend. Akasema enda ona, kwanza yeye ni mwenyewe ndiye alinipeleka. Akasema twende tuone rafiki yangu, tuone kama atakupea kazi. And lucky enough he said I have a vacancy, if you're okay. Makaratasi zako, nikaleta makaratasi zangu za form 4. Akaangalia akasema I can work with you. So nikakuwa mwalimu.
Zikaanza kufunguka pole pole.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's how it was.
Then ukafunza hapo.
I taught for about a year. And then I realized, hey, hii kazi hapana. I don't know.
Kuna kitu ninataka zaidi.
Because the job was I mean, it's sijui job ya walimu inakuja na kale ka status fulani, unaelewa? Walimu wanakuanga tu na kale ka status. So I was feeling special, and pia kamshahara kama 1500 a month is not a joke. Although hapo wanalipa pesa yote. Wanapewa nusu. But it was good. So for 1 year I thought it's not what I want. So nikaachana nayo pia. I stayed for 3 months without a job. Na sikuwa na savings, because unajua hiyo pesa ulikuwa unapewa kidogo when you really need it. Ile unaambia a teacher mazee, yani a teacher come director. Mazee yani hata sijakula.
Ama unatumia ile lugha ya mabrona, tunatuko na matanga.
Leo unasema but either landlord ako on my neck ama sijakula ama nini, ndio sasa wanakupea kama 400. Wanga hiyo balance tutaangalia. So by the time I'm quitting this job, I had no savings, but I had to survive for those 3 months. I was actually eating once in a day. Nikula mara moja, either chai ama ubangaize ukule jioni, that's it for 24 hours. But then nyumba sasa, I think I was a very good tenant. So my landlady was very compassionate and she understood my situation. So ikakuwa ni kama anangoja tu nipate kazi.
Ako na subra.
Ako na subra. Sikukuwa na madeni until that time, sikukuwa na job. So I think she understood kwa sababu sina job. And she was patient with me. So 3 months, 4 months, then I bumped into a group of young people in town. Kuna place ilikuwa inaitwa Chanuka. Chanuka was a youth center. A youth center where young people could just come and have fun. It's a safe space for young people. Come from wherever you're coming from, come to that place and just sit or just talk to your fellow young people or engage in any other activity that you feel like. Wale walikuwa napenda ku dance, kulikuwa na hall na muziki, so you can just put on the music and dance yourself to wherever, yeah. And then we had another team that was acting, so acting was intertwined with a lot of things. And then we had another group that was doing more of public sensitization. Mostly they were intertwined because the same actors ndio walikuwa naenda kufanya sensitization out there to just teach their young people what they need to do and stuff like that. And I found that place to be very, very friendly. Like it was the ideal, it was the kind of place I was looking for. Unfortunately, haikuwa na pesa. Because unaweza kuja ukae hapo the whole day and you go home. But you feel like, hey mazi, this place is good because there's a library, kuna music if you want to dance or to learn. The library unaweza kusoma vitabu. You can just sit down and discuss issues of vijana, you know, and get connections and stuff like that. So that is how my life really turned around. Once I connected with Chanuka Youth Center. Chanuka Youth Center used to be in the e-bank inaitwaje. You see Isuzu. Shop ya Isuzu.
Yes.
Alafu kuna bank hapa juu inaitwaje hiyo bank. Before you get to Ebi Towers, hapa mwisho ya kona hapa. Pako roundabout. There's a bank there. Don't remember that name. But that's where
National
Chanuka used
Bank.
to be. It's National Bank. It has some name. So that is where the Chanuka used to be. And that's how I discovered what I can be able to do, because that's how, well, back in school I was a head student. I was the only head student who started leading a school in Form 3. For some reason, I don't know why. Unajua my head boys ni wale wa Form 4 ndio kwa head boy. Mimi nilianzia Form 3. Because I think the head boy mwenye alikuwa mbele yangu, he transferred, and then we had elections earlier, and then I was given that opportunity. So I led for 2 years. So I knew I was a public speaker and stuff like that, but getting to Chanuka, it kind of gave me an opportunity to just now build on my public speaking and stuff like that. And then it was an information center. Everything you needed to know about young people, it was there. Yeah, so its access to information was very important. It now increased my knowledge base on basic issues that young people are interested in. And so I became a facilitator along the way.